What's going on, guys? I'm Andrew, and this is going to be our Halloween Kills movie review. We're going to do a non-spoiler review, and then after that, we'll put up the spoiler warning, and I will be going over some spoiler talk for this film. So if you have not seen it, just be careful for spoilers if you don't want to be ruined from anything from that. Now, going into the non-spoiler review, want to let you guys first know that I am a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. The only film in the entire series that I have not actually seen is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I have watched some reviews on it, so I've seen some scenes from the film, but I have not watched it entirely. But eventually I will get to that film one day, and hopefully we can do some reviews of that. And maybe next October we will get into that. Let us know in the comment section if you do want to see us do some reviews of that. But unfortunately Jason was not able to come to the screening that I was able to see this in, so I will be doing this, as you can tell, alone. Also, I want to thank Greg Alba and John Humphrey of Real Rejects. It was very kind of them to invite me to the private screening to see it with them. Really appreciate it, and thank you, Cinemark, for allowing us to see that. Definitely see your movies at Cinemark if you can. It's a great theater. It was a lot of fun. Now, getting into this film for the non-spoiler talk, I did enjoy it. It was a fun, entertaining film. It was definitely, if you're a Halloween fan, I think you're going to enjoy it from a perspective of Michael Myers does his thing. It's a very gory film, which we come to expect now, obviously in a Halloween film. There's a lot of gore. It's probably one of the most gory, probably one of the more gory of the Halloween films I've ever seen. It might be right up there, actually. But again, I thought a lot of the kills too were very inventive. I thought it was done in a way that I was like, wow, this is really good. Obviously, that's what we go to these movies to see. Is we want to see Michael Myers get in there and mess shit up and kill people. So from that perspective, I loved it. I had a fun time. It was great. It was entertaining. It was really paced well, and I mean the film was done really quickly. So from that perspective, I really enjoyed the film. Just from a perspective of plot and characters and all that, the acting was fine. That didn't bother me. Just some of the way the characters were used was okay. It just seemed like the film was more focused on getting to the next film, Halloween Ends, which I can't wait for, by the way, rather than focusing on the story and task at hand, which I can understand when you're in the middle of a second, when you're in the middle of a trilogy and you're in the second film, or I guess in this case the third film, because this obviously takes place still with Halloween 1978 and Halloween 2018, and now Halloween Kills is the third film in the series, but you know what I mean, the second film from Halloween 2018. Having said that, I did think it was really cool that they did bring back some characters from Halloween 1978. We got Tommy Doyle back, played by a different actor, played by Anthony Michael Hall. Kyle Richards, who played Lindsay, same actress as the little girl of Lindsay, she is back. I thought that was really great that we got her back. We got also Nancy Stevens playing Marion Chambers. She's also played Marion in Halloween 2, Halloween H2O. So, and obviously those films are retconned here, but it was nice getting her back in the series again. And then we got the character of Lonnie. It was a different actor that played him in this film, but if you remember in Halloween 1978, Lonnie is one of the kids that bullied Tommy, which they make mention in this film, of course. And also he's the kid that tried to go to the Meyers house, and Donald Pleasance's Dr. Loomis said, "Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there." It's that kid, and we find out that he's related to a certain character. If you watched Halloween 2018, you'll know which character he's related to, because I actually picked that up when I rewatched Halloween 2018. I was like, oh, that's Lonnie's son. Oh, that's Lonnie's related to that character. Wow, didn't pick that up the first time I saw this film, so glad that they paid that off when we get into the spoiler talk. I mean, it's not a big spoiler, but I will talk about that when we get into the spoiler talk. We'll get a little more in depth, but again, I did like that they brought back a lot of the characters, and also, of course, brought back Sheriff Brackett, played by Charles Cyphers. I did like, too, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I did like in the opening credits, when they were playing, of course, the theme song by Cody Carpenter and John Carpenter. I forgot the other person who composed the score with them. But I did like when they put Charles Cyphers' name, they put Nancy Stevens and Kyle Richards, because they were all in the original Halloween 1978 film. I love how they put all three of their names together. I thought that was a really symbolic and nice touch. So it was really cool that they did that. But for me, my issues with this film, again, it's kind of more, the plot doesn't really advance too much. I mean, again, it advanced to what we're going to get to see in Halloween Ends, so, I mean, that's cool and all, but it just not much really happened from a perspective of, like, that I felt was very interesting. But I think a big thing, there was a subplot in this film that had to do with vigilante mob justice, and I got what they were going for. Like, honestly, I was in agreement with what was happening, and when I get into the spoiler talk, I'll elaborate. It's just like, with what was happening, it was executed in a way where I was kind of laughing more at it rather than sympathizing and agreeing with, even though I agreed with them, but just I wasn't sympathizing and like and trying to and staying in the moment. I was just more like kind of falling out of the moment and laughing at it more so because of the way the scenes were executed. Again, I understood what they were going for. It was a good idea, and I agree with the vigilante mob justice because you got this killer who's been terrorized, even though he's been locked away for 40 years, he's come back finally to terrorize this town of Haddonfield, and the police have not, or the sheriffs rather, have not done their jobs in stopping this madman. So you can understand that the vigilante mob justice, like of course, it's in a small town like this, totally plausible that that would happen. It's just the way it's executed for me personally. I just felt it was more laughable than me staying in the moment and feeling more sympathy for the mob and the crowd. Because again, if someone in my family or someone I knew was butchered by this madman, I would feel the same way as these people. Again, it's just executed in a way that was more laughable for me. And then, of course, we get Jamie Lee Curtis back. She's played this character so many times. Of course, we know that the rest of the series has been retconned, as I mentioned, but she does a fine job in the film. She's kind of sidelined for more of the film. She's just more relic to staying in the hospital, which is fine. Again, they're kind of getting her more ready for Halloween Ends, which I get it. It kind of felt a little bit like a Halloween 2 situation, 1981, which I really love that film, directed by Rick Rosenthal. Well, where Jamie Lee Curtis is more in the hospital, basically that whole film, she's in the hospital until basically the end, where she's wheeled off in an ambulance. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen Halloween 2, which I'm assuming you have if you're watching this review, but yeah, I mean, she does a fine job. Again, she was just relic more to just being in the hospital, basically the whole film. I did really like Allison in this film as well. I mean, I did like her in the first film, but a lot more even so in this one. I like how active she is, and how much of a personal stake she's got in this, because we all know that Michael killed her father Ray in the first film. So I just really like how active she is, and of course we got Judy Greer back as well, and I do like how protective she is as a mom, because first and foremost she is a mom. And she does, and you do feel the sympathy towards her for, again, the loss she feels towards her husband Ray, and also trying to protect her mother and Allison. So I thought she gave a very good performance as well. Anthony Michael Hall gave a pretty good performance too. There were some moments where I was kind of a little bit laughable with some of his dialogue, not his performance, his dialogue, but that's not on him. That's more of a writing thing with Danny McBride, David Gordon Green, and the other writer. But again, I still like the performance that he gave, and I also like the actor who played Lonnie. It was a pretty good job that he did as well. So, but yeah, overall, like I said, if you're a Halloween fan, it's a great time. It's fun, it's entertaining. You get to see Michael Myers kill a lot of people. There's a lot of gore. It's what you want in a Halloween film, just from a plot, story, and character development perspective, and just characters, just being interesting and being smart. And by the way, I got to mention one other thing issue-wise, which I'm going to go into in the spoiler talk in a sec. People are the worst shooters in this film, and I get it. Look, I've never been in a situation where a killer's been right in front of me, and I've also never shot a gun before as well, so I can't speak to that perspective. But as well, I can imagine when there's someone in front of you trying to kill you, your heart is racing, you're really scared. I totally get that. But Michael Myers is a humongous target to hit. And these people were just point blank missing this guy. Like, there were so many scenes of people missing Michael Myers from point blank range. It was just laughable. Had complete stormtrooper range. There was a scene where finally someone was able to shoot him at some point. I don't want to get too much into it because that's more spoiler talk, but it was just laughable that people were. I mean, people in our private screening were kind of laughing when every shot kept on missing from such close range. It was laughable. It was just hard. It just took you kind of out of the film. Like, how are these people this bad at shooting? I mean, I've never fired a gun, but I feel like I could have at least hit them one time out of the many shots that were happening here. Anyways, like I said, it's a fun, good time. If you're a Halloween fan, I definitely recommend seeing it. You're gonna enjoy the film. It's, at the very minimum, it's fun and it's entertaining, and you get to see Michael Myers, kill a lot of people, and there's a lot of gore and a lot of inventive kills. So you're gonna have a great time, and I definitely recommend seeing it. Let's get into the spoiler talk now. Now, spoiler warning if you have not seen it. Now, getting more into the mob mentality, as I mentioned, I can understand like why what they were going for, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. It's an interesting perspective because, again, you have this killer that's been terrorizing this town since 1978 and now coming back 40 years later. Again, with some of the dialogue and then some of the moments and how it's executed when they're chasing this inmate that they believe to be Michael Myers. And look, I think it's kind of ridiculous, and I get it. The people that are chasing Michael or this inmate and that they think is Michael Myers, they're not us, the audience. They don't get to see Michael Myers, and they don't know what Michael Myers looks like. So from that perspective, I got it. I just found it kind of laughable that Tommy Doyle, for instance, Anthony Michael Hall's character, and even actually more, I'm leaning more towards Anthony Michael Hall's character. He knows who the boogeyman is. I mean, that's the story he tells every Halloween, and he saw him up close, almost try and kill him in Halloween 1978. To see this inmate running away, scared from them in the hospital, getting away from them, like he's got to know Michael Myers would never run away from him, and also the height and shape of this guy, like, did not really resemble Michael Myers, but just the fact that he was running away from him, like, come on, Anthony Michael Hall's character, Tommy Doyle, like, no way you thought that was Michael Myers. Michael Myers would stand up and try and kill you, but I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. I was also mentioning earlier in the review that Jamie Lee Curtis was kind of sidelined in this film. She's really only in the hospital, and that's it. And I get why she was, stuck with a knife, rather stabbed with a knife in Halloween 2018. So it makes total sense why she's sidelined. They're kind of getting her ready for Halloween Ends in this film, or for the next film, rather. I do like the perspective, though, that we're going to get for Halloween Ends. It's going to be, because another one of my issues I didn't go into with the non-spoiler review, there's no clear-cut protagonist in this film. Like, where in Halloween 2018, we know it's Laurie Strode. In Halloween 1978, of course, it's Laurie Strode, but it's Dr. Loomis's, it's Donald Pleasence's Dr. Loomis. There's no clear-cut protagonist in this film. It's just a bunch of people trying to stop Michael Myers. Where in Halloween 2018, it's clearly Laurie Strode, and again, in 78, it's Laurie Strode and Dr. Loomis. So in Halloween Ends, we know who the three protagonists are going to be because, spoiler warning, as we're talking spoiler talk here, Karen was killed at the end of this film, and so was Tommy, and also Lonnie was killed as well as Cameron. So we know who the three main protagonists are going to be in Halloween Ends. It's going to be Officer Hawkins, Laurie Strode, and Allison. Allison, of course, being that Cameron was killed, her father was killed, and her mother was killed by Michael Myers, so she's got a personal vendetta. Of course, Laurie, we know her vendetta with Michael, just terrorizing her since 1970, and also now killing her daughter. That's going to even heighten more that personality and the personal hate she has towards him, and the history they have together. It's just going to amp it up more. And with Officer Hawkins, obviously, I do love how we went into that backstory a little bit from 1978, because I was wondering in the back of my head when I saw the Halloween 2018, I was really thinking, like, wow, that's an interesting perspective, because it kind of retcons what we saw in Halloween 1978, where when Dr. Loomis goes to see Michael after he shot him off the balcony, where is he, what happened, and he just disappeared, and now we get to see, like, exactly what happened. Now it's no longer retcon, because we saw exactly what happened, where his Officer Hawkins and his partner tracked him down to the Myers house, and basically Michael Myers was strangling his partner, and then he accidentally shot his partner, and then he stopped Dr. Loomis from killing Michael Myers, and then they arrested him and took him to the mental asylum. I did love how they brought back that digital version of Dr. Loomis. I thought that was really well done, really good. I mean, it really convinced me. Because a lot of times when I see CGI and they do the digital remake of the digital version of someone who we know is not currently alive anymore, sometimes it looks good, or when they DH someone, sometimes it looks good, and other times I'm like, didn't look good. Princess Leia, Rogue One, Star Wars, just saying. Sometimes it looks okay and good, and other times it looks laughably bad. And this one I thought was pretty good. Maybe if I see it a couple more times, I might not have that same opinion, but from a first-time viewing perspective, I thought it looked really good. And I thought it was inserted really well, and I did like the way the editing was done, where they inserted that. Right when we went there, I knew exactly what they were showing, that Officer Hawkins. And I love the connection, by the way, with Lonnie and Officer Hawkins. I thought that was really well done, too, because Lonnie was, of course, the kid who bullied Tommy, and then Michael Myers almost killed him before Officer Hawkins and his partner tracked Michael down to the Myers house. So I thought that was really well done as well. Trying to think what else. But yeah, no, like I said, look, as I mentioned in my non-spoiler review, I still think this was a very fun and gory film, which is basically, look, that's what we come to for these Halloween films. If we get a great story with amazing characters, that's just icing on the cake for me. That wasn't the case in this film. I mean, there were some characters that I did like and I did sympathize with, but there were some really laughable moments, especially the mob justice stuff. I mean, again, I like the idea of it. I agree with what they were going for. It's just the execution was a little bit laughable there. There wasn't really a clear-cut protagonist in this film. So from those perspectives, and also some of the characters had some of the worst stormtrooper aim in this film. It was just completely kept taking me out of the film. So from that perspective, those are my issues with the film. But again, I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an entertaining film. Was it the best Halloween film? Absolutely not. Was it a fun and entertaining Halloween film? For sure. I think if you're a Halloween fan, you're really going to enjoy it. And there were a few good jump scares as well. Definitely let us know in the comments section. Are you planning on seeing Halloween Kills? If you have seen it, what did you think of it? Let us know. Are you looking forward to Halloween Ends? Love to hear your opinions. Let us know in the comments down below. Well, that's going to do it for this video. We may or may not be doing our Easter eggs references and trivia for this video. I'm going to compile a list and see if that's going to be interesting enough to do. So if you don't want to possibly miss that list, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. We'd really appreciate it if you feel we deserved it. And we will see you guys next time.